Shane breathed heavily in his makeshift prison cell. He had been beaten and interrogated for almost 2 days now, he figured. They had been questioning him about Dakota and where she was, but Shane refused to tell them anything. With Merle beating him with his prosthetic arm, he quickly pieces together that the men he killed belonged to Merle's group. However, Shane knew Merle was just some redneck lackey to the real monster, a pretty boy the others called the Govender. Shane has seen people like him before while in the force, men who crave power and abuse it, control people, and love the feeling of owning them. Merle demands to know where the girl is, but Shane just spits in his face before taking another blow. The Governor comments on his loyalty and bravery for protecting the girl, yet the Governor would argue that he was protecting a killer. The girl was dangerous, and letting her roam around puts everyone's lives in danger. Shane would protest, saying he doesn't know any girl, only to be hit again with Merle claiming he spotted Shane leaving the girl to distract the herd. Seeing that the questioning was going nowhere, the Governor would then turn and speak to Merle quietly in the corner. Finally, he would turn and ask Shane about the group and Merle's brother and what happened to them after Atlanta. Dakota would stay quiet as she followed along with the group she found. They had tried to ask her questions about where she came from and if she had knowledge about any of the places that might have supplies. She mainly refuses to answer, keeping her head down and trying not to draw attention, though she did find it useful that their main guy, Tyrese, was so protective of her. Having him defend her from prying of the other two men and the girl Sasha made her feel safe for now, though she did wonder what happened with Shane. She had heard gunfire off in the distance when she ran for safety, and with him not coming to their rendezvous, made her feel some concern for him. He had already done so much for her, and more than considered her friend. The young boy of the group would make some comments on her, but she really didn't pay too much attention to him, only keeping track of the things he carried with him, which honestly wasn't much. Almost nobody in the group had more than a day's worth of food. Tyrese would make small talk with the other woman from time to time. It was clear that there was something between them, though from what Dakota could see, it seemed to be touchy subject, deducing that the other older gentleman might be the reason why they're not so open. Sasha would point out to the group that she sees a cluster of houses not far from them, and the group would decide to go check it out. Thinking about where they were and how long they had been traveling, Dakota started to think about the marking of the map she had made with Shane and started to feel as they might be moving toward. She considered warning them, as they seemed like nice people, but she had met nice people before. For now, it was best just to keep quiet and keep a low profile, choosing to only speak when necessary. For now, they would be her protection, but at the first sign of something going wrong, she would leave as quickly as possible. Back with Shane, he would be more forthcoming with information, telling Merle that he left the group after growing tensions with Rick. Merle remarked that Rick was an asshole for leaving him on that roof. Shane would try to barter with Merle, telling him that Rick was a bigger problem than that during their fight at the school, Rick left him for dead as well. Merle would then question Shane about his brother, and Shane would tell him that he went back to the farm to find the group and learn that the herd had come through and tore the place up. Merle would then ask if his brother is dead, and Shane would tell him that from what he saw, most of the group got out, and as far as he knew, none of their group was among the dead that he found. The interrogation would then be cut as Martinez would enter, telling Merle that the Governor needed him. She had apparently escaped. Shane would tell what they meant by their tone. They were heading to get somebody, either to capture them or worse. Merle would leave Shane tied to his wooden chair, and with the guards standing outside the door for security. Being left alone, Shane would then begin to scan his surroundings for his chance to escape. Unfortunately for Dakota, things would also not be going so well. Her newfound group would have the terrible luck of running to a herd the following day. Everyone would do their part, taking turns killing a walker. Sasha using a shovel, Tyrese whirling with a hammer, the other two men used bats and clubs. Dakota herself joined in the fray, using a knife to pierce the skull of a walker from behind. More walkers came seemingly out of nowhere. Hearing the commotion of the brawl, in the midst of the fight, the woman close to Tyrese was suddenly taken by a walker. Its mouth clamping down her arm, she shrieked in pain, crying out for help. The two men screamed in horror, as Tyrese was quick to kill the walker that grabbed her. Tyrese ordered the group to push east, as it was the most clear of walkers. The two men took the woman, as Tyrese and Sasha held the line, trying to keep everyone safe. As for Dakota, she stayed close to the center of the group, eyeing the woman as she was very well aware of what happens when someone is bit. Tightly she gripped her blade, watching the woman closely. The six of them soon found themselves running into the woods. For what was in store for them, that was unknown, but anything would be better than being eaten alive at this point. What seemed like another whole day would pass for Shane, listening closely to the sounds of chattering on the walkie-talkie just outside his room. The footsteps that could be heard off in the distance. He stayed conscious and aware of everything because he was secretly and slowly attempting to escape. He had been able to chip away at the back of the wooden chair he was tied to, tearing at his nails and fingertips until a decent-sized splinter could be torn off. Taking the splinter, he began to cut the zip ties that bound his hands, cutting away at both the plastic and his flesh. The pain was brutal, but the beating it took was worse. He wasn't going to let these assholes kill him. He was going to give them the satisfaction of victory, nor was he going to let them get Dakota. As long as he still had breath in his lungs, he was going to live. He was going to fight for it. Then suddenly he heard it. The snapping of his spines. It was time. And that right there, guys, is going to finish up part 3 of the Shane Lives story arc I got going on with him and his capture by the governor and the parallel stories of Dakota and him together. So yeah, if you guys like this story, go ahead and leave a like and go ahead and subscribe for more. I have plenty of videos coming out, and I'm just happy to finally be bringing all this to you guys. So yeah, hope you all enjoyed. Can't wait to bring you the next one. This has been the Writer's Cantina, and I am your host, JD.